I receive the blessings. I sure do. I receive the blessings. And I found out something that I think I should probably share with all of you.
Come on, Doc.
Yeah, you you might uh, you might find it interesting. You might find it just a little interesting, and some might even say that this has proven to be necessary in my life. Is we had this discussion about what you do when you come to the end of a journey. It appears to be the end of a journey. It appears to be that way. Um, we grieve all the time when we have to let something go or when something just leaves. And then if it's just going to leave anyway, and you find yourself powerless to control it, then we protect ourselves by saying it's just time to just to let it go. That's one of those fail-safe mechanisms that's built in uh, for us and for our protection. So to grieve, it looks different from person to person. It's going to vary in our expressions of being forced into a situation that we don't appreciate in the moment. um, God, why are you doing this? So we start rebuking the devil when the devil, got to remember, he doesn't have power over us. We're binding and loosing when there's nothing to be bound or loose. It's just for us to move forward. But because it's something new, we struggle with it. And to the extreme that when you can no longer see what's beyond this moment, then you're going to feel stuck. And it's okay to grieve. It's really okay to mourn. It's okay to do all of those things because we do them all the time, whether we call it grief or mourning. Something is broke. The remote, your favorite chair, isn't working anymore. It's got holes in it, or your favorite coffee mug gets broken, or your favorite glass, or your plate. I mean, we all have those things. My hat. What's wrong with my hat? My shoes. I didn't realize that I struggled with it, years ago. I had, I think I was a pretty snappy dresser when I first met my wife. I was a snappy dresser, and yeah, now your definition of snappy might be a little bit different than mine. Yeah, our perspectives needed to uh, change. I mean, I didn't care what the environment said everybody else should wear. I wore what I wanted to. I don't care what time of the year it was. I was a snappy dresser, a trendsetter, so to speak. And something happened to my favorite suit. And now, mind you, it was a three-piece, blue, crushed velvet suit. Yeah. It was just between sky blue, powder blue. It had some content and character to it. But crushed blue. And I had a bow tie that I wore with it. That bow tie was also crushed velvet and it was red. I had a blue suit, crushed velvet, and a red crushed velvet bow tie. Oh, and I had a special shirt. You put on a white shirt, and then I had those. You remember those collars? They were, what do you call it? ruffles that you can button onto your shirt right down the middle. I was a snappy dresser. It didn't matter that it was the middle of August to me. It didn't matter that we was in Louisiana in August, September. I wore my suit. Everybody looked at me. Yeah, it didn't matter that we were living in Florida. I could still fit it. Yep. So I wore that suit in South Florida in the summertime. Humidity's at 100%. I wore my suit. Everybody looked at me and they're like, hey, you know what? And just smiling and pointing. Yeah, I waved back. Hey, yeah, I know I look good. Yep. Yeah, problem is that my wife didn't have the same taste that I did, and something happened to my suit. I had to preach. This was what 1981, 82, and so I had some revelation. I investigated for a while, but I had to preach one Sunday, and as I put my suit on, there was a black dot, almost looked like shoe polish, on the back of that suit. And I'm like, huh, what happened here? I put it on anyway. My wife said, you gonna wear that? And I said, yeah, ain't nobody gonna see my back. I'll be preaching. I'm facing the audience. I wore my suit with the black dot on it. I don't know if any of you have ever had something stolen from you, but I went for my suit probably that next Sunday, and somebody broke into our apartment there in Homestead, Florida, and the only thing they stole was my suit and my Chuck Taylors, my Converse tennis shoes. Isn't that something? That's the only thing they stole. Somebody saw that suit and they wanted it for themselves. So I grieved for my suit. Yeah, but it was, people get jealous and they kind of want your stuff. And my wife never told me, if she left the door open because there was no sign of forced entry on the apartment door. Nobody broke through the window, but somehow they got into the apartment and they stole my blue suit, my crushed velvet, three-piece blue suit. And this is something because I could put that button down, the ruffle, no, the ruffles, I could put that on any suit, on any shirt. But the only thing that they stole was my ruffles. They ain't taking his shirts, just took my ruffles. So they must have had a shirt of their own. Okay. Yeah, so I eventually I figured it out, but my wife wouldn't do that to me. So I had a little issue. I didn't have attitude, but I had to go through this thing because that was my favorite suit, and I had to let it go. Now that seems strange, but you know how you get an attitude when something that good is missing. Now now I knew what happened to my Chuck Taylors. I didn't care that they had holes in the cloth. The soles were still good. The Lord said, "Be holy." So it was even my feet were shod, and so I wore my Chucks. I sure did. And when my wife told me what happened to them, she said she threw them in the dumpster. It was now dark in South Florida. I grabbed my flashlight. Yes, I did. I jumped over in that dumpster at the apartment complex and I dug through everybody's trash till I found my Chucks. I didn't want to let them go. I didn't want to let them go. That sounds funny, right? It might even sound a little like I need to talk to somebody who went to school for people with issues like I had, and they could help me even write a prescription. But the thing is I realize now that if that sounds funny to you, and maybe it's not so funny because it's so familiar, then what you need to understand is that I was actually grieving. I grieved, and my expressions were different for my suit, and I grieved even though somebody stole my suit. My suit, they broke into my apartment. That was what I was told anyway. Um, I grieved for my shoes. That seems like it doesn't sound like grief, but I'm telling you that grief comes in so many forms. And so what I ended up doing was I got some more chucks, and I wasn't permitted to go get another suit. But anyway, not like that one. So I did go through this process and to start over again, or maybe it's a career, something that you really loved. I noticed for those of you who have served in the military that we'd have these O6, or for the Air Force and Army, we'd call them colonels, the full bird colonels. They'd spend their whole life, their whole focus is on that, on their career, on that job. And what we notice is that when these colonels would retire after 30, 35 years of service, where you're on top of everything, you're the top, you call the shots. People jump when you walk in the room. Yeah, they when you walk in the room, the room comes to attention. They're waiting on your instructions, as you were. Carry on, or you're going to talk to them. You're used to that kind of respect, and then when it's gone, we notice that these colonels, within 1 year of retirement, they die. Nothing wrong with them; they're healthy, but they put everything into the journey. But when that journey comes to an end, someone said that you had to recreate yourself. Have you ever said that? I've had something that now I have to recreate myself because I don't have this job anymore, or this person is no longer in my life. Now I have to recreate myself. Marriage has come to an end. Well, you grieve the relationship. If you can grieve when you can't find your remote control, you grieve when the heels break on your favorite shoe, or you get a hole or a tear, or when the moths get a hold to of a shirt or a suit or a blouse or a jacket or something that you really like, and you can't wear it, even if it's just in that moment. Then you have this attitude, this sick or sinking, or now what am I going to do? I have to recreate myself. I was identified through this person or that one. Now I have to recreate myself. Here's here's the truth, is that the day that you were created, the day that you were created, I saw this, I don't know where I saw it, and I don't even know when I saw it, but I saw this scientific phenomena, medical, there's where life begins at conception, and when the sperm that makes it through, the semen makes it through the that its journey, and it's permitted to contact the egg, connect with the egg of the woman, um, that the instant there is a connection, it's actually more like an impact, because as soon as they come together, there's a light that flashes. Now you can look this up, for yourself. Maybe you've heard it. Maybe you saw the same thing that I saw years ago or some time ago, whenever it was. Um, but life happens, and there's light that happens at life, and and I believe that the soul, the spirit rather, enters in right then, and because the spirit is light. I'd love to be able to share some things with you that will probably mess you up a whole lot. The spirit, the spirit is light, because the God is light. Let there be light. That means I'm going to show up now. I'm going to allow a part of me to be there. Before there was sun, before there was the sun, or any, even in expansion, any of the element there, the solar system was put in place. There was light, and the light shone this dark place, this dark space. That's the spirit of God. The spirit enters into that egg, and then there's life, but there's light that shows. So, and everything that you will ever need in your life is connected to that connection. It's already there. It's already inside. So when we're saying that we have to recreate ourselves, you don't. Do you think that your situation or the end of your relationship or this life or that one, or the end of the journey with whatever item it is, a thing or career that you're grieving over, do you think that God already had a plan, that he knew that moment, that day was coming? Do you think that he knew how you would feel in that moment? Of course he did, and provisions were already made for you. Everything already put in place. Everything that you would ever need was inside of you already. And seeing your expression is going to be different from mine because it's different from mine. Our goal is the same, or we could say that our vision is the same, but our missions are very different. How we're going to get there is going to vary. So our purposes be different, but our mission, how we're going to get there, is going to be different. Our purpose, our vision, our expression, our focus is Christ alone. Our job, our assignment is going to vary. Everything that you'll ever need is already in you. You don't have to recreate. See, things are hidden from people, but God has given us the ability to discover the cover, sometimes of life, the cares of life. Stuff gets in our way. It just starts piling up, and piling up, and piling up. For some, it's piled up. Or I can take something that I was just looking at, and you see my hand. Now you don't, because it's covered. So I've got to dis the cover. Now you can see my hand again. So that's what discover is. I'm not recreating myself. I just don't know who I am and what I'm capable of. I didn't know that I was able to do all that. But on this journey, instead of recreating, see a king, it's these things are going to be to a king. That's you. Um, in ancient times, and even today, we still practice this, the art of war. And there are things that I participated in the early 80s, 1984, first time I deployed. Well, the secret's out now. We were able to put everything together, but I went to work one night there at Homestead Air Force Base, and I got a phone call. See, I was on a rapid deployment team, and I was the only person contacted out of Homestead Air Force Base. And it said the message wasn't a phone call. It was a message in my box when I got to work, midnight shift, and it said, "Put on your civilian clothes." We had to keep a bag with 30-day supplies at least. Yeah, we do the bag drags. Anybody remember those bag drags? They're checking your stuff out, make sure that you have it, and then you going back to work. Well, I thought it was one of those. I called my wife and I said, "Okay, hey, we're doing a bag drag, playing some games. I'll see you in the morning." Well, the morning never came. Yeah, for several months. Put on civilian clothes and we go to the first briefing and we're thinking, okay, yeah, this is cool, whatever. Yes, I remember. Okay, I've heard Army, Army Strong. That's baby sister number 10. Um, and so, got the briefing and all, and I thought, okay, we're going to go back to work now. But people went different places. But we went to another briefing, and they said this is secure, and they're going through our stuff. You're not supposed to have anything, and they would tell us what items. I'm able to put this together now, but back then I was only focused on the moment. I was never allowed to see the big picture. And so, no, we made sure that we didn't have any Bibles or no religious material, no magazines, nothing that would identify us as who we are. And and so we get on the plane and we fly to South Carolina. Now there's separation. I go to a room, billets, and then I get a phone call coming to pick you up, grab your gear, go out front. I did that. Now we get a different briefing. This is different than any briefing I've ever had before when we're playing games. This one says, this is real world. And now we go into this environment, this clean environment. All communication is cut. We don't know where we're going. Well, I don't know where I'm going. But it was in Carolina, actually. There were people from other nations who came. I was the only one who continued the journey from Homestead Air Force Base. And we all come together and we get this secure briefing. And now we hop on this C-130 and we fly. We land in a place on a rock, literally, and refuel. It was beautiful, but we get back on this plane and we fly. And now we're in another location in Northeast Africa, and we get on the plane after we witness a few things, and we fly. 27 hours of flying on that C-130. You can imagine if you've ever been on one. Get off the plane, and there's nothing there but sand as far as you can see. There's a man sitting on come the runway, but it was just sand. A C-130 can land in and on anything. It doesn't need a lot of space to land or to take off. It was built that way. This man had orders. He had papers with my name on it. And I asked him, "Well, where do we change? Where's our tent at least?" And he says, "You haven't put it up." We built a city in 72 hours. Then and then we stayed there and put things together. And there was a lot of other experiences that I don't need to go into. Let's just say that I was the lowest ranking person. And I didn't know what it was I was doing. I mean, I knew my job, I knew my assignment, but I didn't know the purpose, the overall purpose. I didn't know the plan. And after we'd been there for several months, they listened to your phone calls. The satellite, I forgot what we called them. Maybe one of you guys remembers, but they were satellite calls. And for the letters that we would write, they read the letters to make sure that we didn't divulge any information as far as our location, because somebody might be able to put some things together. But then we left. A few years later, we're back in that same region, but now this is war, and I'm asking questions like, how did we get so much in this place? And because we didn't know, but after we left, after my crew left, another crew came in, and they did a job, and they said they found everything was in place, but they had to bring in and do a job, and then they left. And when they left, another crew came in. So they came in shifts, and ultimately everything was in place. I wonder how come we didn't know that? Well, because we weren't high ranking enough. So in war, the kings did not tell the soldiers, did not tell their troops everything that was about to happen, didn't tell them the secrets. Now they knew that they were going to fight and who they were going to fight, and they didn't have to be trained how to fight. They already knew how to do that, how to engage. They got that, but they didn't know what was next. The only person who the king would talk to would be the son. You tell your sons everything. So just in case the king falls, is overwhelmed, or dies, then the son now acts in place of the king. So when the king leaves and you're engaged, when the king is removed, then it's the son who has the aid of the king and the knowledge of the king that had to, it could only be entrusted to the son, because the son wouldn't tell. See, you tell the wrong person, they're going to go out and it's going to get to the enemy and they'll be prepared for you. But what the king has done is it for the sons. I hope you heard where I was going with that. I wasn't really talking about my experience. That was one, and it was very true. And there were so many other things connected to that, but I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know. I just knew that I was trained. And when I got there, when I made it into that theater, that area, I knew what to do because it's already in me. You don't ask questions now. You go from deployment to employment. So you're going to do the thing that you've been prepared over. All of the train didn't appreciate that prepared you for this moment. I didn't have to recreate myself because I wasn't with my family. I didn't have to recreate myself because I wasn't in the city that I had grown accustomed, in the country that I love so much. I didn't have to recreate myself. Everything that I was going to need was already in me. And now all I do is it. I do it. I dis who I am. I discovered. I discovered. So the situation, the removal, the peeling back is allowing you to discover. You're dissing the cover, the affection or the focus. You're dissing that because the focus that you had, the abilities that you've exercised up until this point was only good enough to get you to this moment. And now we grieve the change, and you think rediscover yourself, or recreate yourself rather. Bara, bara, create. Yet to create is something that didn't exist before. Bereshit bara Adonai, or in the beginning, God created, and or the Lord. But there's nothing. You see, you create from nothing. You form, you make. Yeah, I can't discover something that's not there already, right? I can't discover it if it's not there. So it's got to be there, and I've got to go through whatever it is that I'm going through in order to get to that place where the covers have been removed. My eyes are open. So why do I grieve so hard when this, I've been prepared for this. It's in me already to do. That this should excite me. I grieve a little different now. I still feel pain of others, and I don't. belittle or negate or even pretend to know pain that someone's feeling, even though I've been through, I've walked down that road, and that's been that journey has my reality. It's not pleasant at all, but it's not the end. I don't have to recreate myself. I'm getting to know who I am. And because the secrets have been embedded in fabrics of my soul, the secret, when the king is removed, then the son of king takes over because you know the secret. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. It doesn't, it hasn't appeared, yeah, I don't know what's next, but I know this, that when I see him as he is, I'm going to be just like him. Can I give you another secret? It's not a matter of waiting until he cracks the sky and his return, the rapture, when we're caught up to meet him. That's when I'm going to be just like him. No. The answer is going to be found in Second Peter chapter 1, verse 3. How that verse closes out. It says that God, according to his divine power, hath given us all things that pertain to life and godliness through the knowledge of him who called us to glory and virtue. Because we have these exceeding great and precious promises, it says that we are now of the divine nature of God himself, Elohim himself. We are now partakers of his divine nature. There's a discovering who we really are. The devils know it. The demons tremble when you show up. That's why there's silence when you walk into a room where there's chaos going on, and you walk in there and they're silent, and you start thinking, okay, everybody's talking about me. Mm-mm. They're waiting on the God in you to give that situation that's shifting. The environment is waiting to shift. But if you just walk through it, if you don't say anything to it, if you don't speak to it, nothing changes. And oftentimes we don't do it because we don't know who we are. You're an attitude adjuster. You're an atmosphere shifter. You're a fire starter. You're unstoppable. You are the unstoppable son of the Most High. When Donna Yvette Romby married Jerome Justin McGee, she became Mrs. Jerome Justin McGee. She gave up her identity, didn't lose herself, but what she's called, how she was identified, changed. She's still everything she was created to be, but she can legally sign her name, Jerome McGee. I can't sign my name, Donna Yvette Romby. I couldn't even sign hers. I tried it. But she could sign Mrs. Jerome Justin McGee because she became me. I didn't become her. I became one with her, but she became me. She took my identity. She has access to everything that I have. That's what happens. And so she's called Mrs. Jerome, Mrs. McGee, Mrs. McGee. All of her documents, all of her legal documents say Mrs. McGee. No, these kids, these people, they're going through this phase where they call adults, children are calling adults by the first name. No respect at all, But when my wife shows up at a new school, she says, "Well, okay, well, Donna, no, no, that's Mrs. McGee or Miss Donna, Mrs. McGee." They're playing with you. Listen, it's what you've been called is not where you've been. It's not connected to what you have known or what's been revealed to you. But the reason why he calls you son and not daughter Now I have sons and daughters, but in the kingdom, he doesn't call us daughters because he didn't have a daughter. He said, I'm giving you the spirit of my son. You are married to my son. You are in the body of my son. You are the bride of Christ. There is not a place where we're going to have a wedding. The wedding takes place as soon as you come into the knowledge, come on, the knowledge of him who called you to glory and virtue. You're in the body. His spirit is in your heart. His expression comes out of your mouth. His faith is your faith. Everything has been about you. And so see, he doesn't see Kim, he doesn't see Jackie, he doesn't see Jerome, he doesn't see Vanessa, Linda, Trina, he doesn't see David or Vernita or Tara or Felicia or Nora, Treese or Dr. Mama or Byron. He doesn't see Denise, he doesn't see you. He doesn't see Christine, he doesn't see you. He doesn't see, what he sees is his son, not Ernestine. Mm. Whatever your name is, he doesn't see what you think you have been. He sees his son. And so he calls you his son. Son is a position, not a name. It's a title that indicates authority, power, position. And what's the name? Everything we do is done in the name of the Son, Yeshua, 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 HaMashiach, Jesus, the anointed one, the Christ. The Christ, the Son of the living God. You're given that authority, that reputation, that name. Oh my goodness, I could talk to you about this. I'm just having a conversation. You have joined Conversations with Dr. Jerome. We've been fasting for 207 days, y'all. Prepared for this moment. Every day is a new discovery. I'm not where I was 207 days ago. I think I heard Kim say that. I'm not where I was 207 days ago when I began this ridiculous journey. Who fasts for more than a day, more than a week, more than a month? Child, I'm on a 40-day fast. Well, I've been fasting for 207 days of this journey of 366. My God. I don't know what's next, but I do know who's there waiting in my tomorrows. I do know. Somebody asked, "What are you going to do next year?" I said, "Well, right now I'm focused on getting through this one." But what is it like? Conversation with Dr. Jerome. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know that it's going to be better than anything we've experienced before because every day with Jesus. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It's sweeter than before. Every day I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him more and more. The other song said, every round goes higher, higher for who? Soldiers of the what? Yeah, if you think I make up. No, that was my brother's song, Israel. But um, folks, that's our time. I just wanted you to know that um, you are more than you think you are. You are much greater than anything that you've experienced. It couldn't stop you, so don't die in grief. Don't allow grief to keep you there. We grieve, but we don't grieve like people who have no hope. Only the hopeless stay in that place, stay in that space. I was hopeful that I would find my suit. I can't even find another one like it, so all I have are my memories and my pictures, my photos of my suit. Yeah, you know what? I might even post it one day. I took my senior portraits in my suit. Love that suit. But I had to let it go. Yep, I had to let it go. Yeah, there's some other things that you just got to let it go. And you move on and you find some better things. I'd still be one of a kind. I wonder if got some material, would my wife make me one? Somebody say, let it go. I did have that thought. But anyway, um, It doesn't feel the same anymore. When I look back, it's kind of funny, just watching those reactions, and people still respond today the way that they did back then. Like, wow, look at him. Made me feel kind of special. Didn't matter what they were thinking. I took what they was thinking and I made it what I wanted it to be. I'm not going to let you stop me because of how you view me. I'm strange. You don't like the way that I talk to my wife. You don't like the fact that I treat my wife like she's a queen. Well, because she is. She is. Like she's the bride of a king. Well, she is. The Lord told me years ago, remember, she's my daughter before she's your wife. I know that I'm talking to the Son of God. I know that it's Christ in you, the anointing, the yoke destroying, burden removing power of God that's activated in you. You're the good success of your assignment. There's no failure. You thought it was a failure, but it was actually a stepping stone, taking you to another level. Somebody said, new levels, new devils. No, new levels, new mercies. I ain't worried about no devil. They got no power over you. Jesus gave you power over every one of them. They didn't forget, and he didn't change his mind. You are who he said you are, and who he said that you are. He identified you as the Son of God. That's my time. Look forward to seeing you all on Monday. Please remember to like and to share, to subscribe. If you're in our area, come on out to Jubilee Training Center on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We start on time, promise you that. Whether there's 100, 1,000, or 100,000 people in place, come on in. That's it. Have a great day. Alawi, God bless you. We appreciate you. We honor you. But you can like and share as well. And the beautiful thing about this on YouTube is that you can watch it at any time. All right, you all. I speak blessing, peace, power, and provision. We need any more promises. We need the provision, the manifestation of everything that's been spoken. It's in front of us. And you'll enjoy it. You'll embrace it if you just keep moving. Don't allow anybody's conversation to stop you or make you change your mind about what God said. Because if they can get you to change your mind about your church, what are they going to do about your destiny? Oh, a charge to keep I have. I'm feeling Baptist right now. A God to glorify. All right. We're going to continue this conversation on Conversations with Dr. Jerome on Clubhouse. So if you are already a member, come on over to Clubhouse and listen to what it is that others have to say about what we've been talking about these past 44 minutes. Blessings and peace, wisdom and guidance. Remember that you've been empowered to prosper because you apply the word. The fast continues over the weekend, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. God bless. Folks.